All praise due to the Fahrenheit schlag. It is the schlags that brings us here together. All praise due to the Fahrenheit schlag. It is the schlags that brings us purpose. It's the Fahrenheit. What's good with it? I'm your host, First Degree the DE. The ball keeps rolling. How lucky for us. The ball keeps rolling. How lucky for us. You're already in the chat. I see you. Let's do this. We got a lot to talk about. Let's get the ball rolling. We're talking about one. First thing we're talking about today is how to make a beat. How does First Degree the DE recommend and the strategy he uses himself to make a beat? Okay, that's coming from requests, special requests. Hey, I take requests. I am listening. I am listening. What's up, Duck? Overkill? What's cracker laugh off? Johnny, let's do this. Nah, Duck. We also talking about the Triple Threat 3. Late 90s, Russell Simmons offered the Triple Threat 3 a contract to be with Run DMC. To be with Run DMC and LL Cool J. If you think the history of Sacramento rap, the Triple Threat 3 declined, but we gonna do a little what if. Okay, what if they would have signed? I'm gonna share my opinion, but I'm most of curious of your opinion. So holla in the chat. Holla in the chat throughout the program what you think it would have been like, how the trajectory would have trajectified if the first Sacramento rap group signed with Russell Simmons and Def Jam Records. Moving forward. Since we're talking about beat making, I'm gonna talk about a producer. You hear me talking about Funk Beta all the time. I got a Funk Beta show update. But I'm gonna talk about someone else from the Tempt. Okay, that's carving his own path. Real quick like. Okay? Then we gonna talk. I'm gonna brush off on briefly. Then I'm gonna brush on briefly about some shows I did in the middle of nowhere and what's it like to do a show in the middle of nowhere. I'm looking forward to that. Now, a message from the Schlangs. Wolf has entered the fray. May the Schlangs allow us to do the best with what we have available to us. I'm going to say that one again. May the Schlangs allow us to do the best with the tools we have available to us. I start with that one. I start with that one because the DEG and the Fahrenheit network is always working on slow computers. Everything you see is one man working twice as hard. Moving forward. So I asked the Schlangs that for myself. May the Schlangs allow us to be kind to others, but mainly ourselves. May the Schlangs let us see there's no limit to what we can achieve. May the Schlangs allow when we fall for us to rise back up. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs, for this next one. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs, for this next one. May the Schlangs allow us to uplift and empower ourselves and those we find dear. May the Schlangs allow us to empower ourselves and those we find dear. I'm pointing at you, sons of Fahrenheit, the mighty sons of Fahrenheit. I'm telling you. I'm working on a new tagline for the show where the urban intellectuals gather. Fahrenheit where the urban intellectuals gather. And that's coming from just thinking about y'all. That's what I call you, the urban intellectuals. More on that. That was just a thought. Moving on. Ooh, thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs, for this next one. May the Schlangs allow us to be bold and take up space. May the Schlangs allow us to be bold and take up space. You are a representative of the mighty Fahrenheit Schlangs. When you walk in a room, hold your chest out, hold your shoulders out, and your head up. The fact that you are watching this here means you are superior of your neighbors and peers. So when you walk in a room, hold your chest out. That's who you are. I love that one. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs of Mighty of Schlangs. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs of Mighty of Schlangs. May the Schlangs allow us to be open to innovation and creativity. May the Schlangs allow our minds to be open, not stuck in the past. Allow our minds to be open to inspiration and creativity. In this new AI world, inspiration and creativity, it used to mean this, now it means this. Inspiration, creativity, willpower used to mean this, now it means this. I can't emphasize that enough. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. May the Schlangs recognize difficult times being temporary and recognize that we will be stronger because of them. May the Schlangs open our eyes and allow us to see that the future has bright things ahead of it. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. I'm in the chat. Do you appreciate the Mighty of Schlangs? Give your appreciation to the Mighty of Schlangs in the chat. Give your appreciation of the Mighty of Schlangs in the chat. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. Thank you, Almighty of Schlangs. Urban intellectuals. That's how I see you. There will be a day where you will be proud to be the pioneer of the Fahrenheit hour. I'm telling you, just stick with your boy. There will be a day where you will be proud to be a pioneer of the Fahrenheit hour. Oh my goodness, YouTube. I love you guys at YouTube. You guys are great. You just keep dragging me through red tape. Another day of holding us back from the first ever 24-hour a day, 7 days a week superior of Schlap Live Network. Another email. Thank you, YouTube, for your work. But it's another email where I'm not even sure if they're reading my emails. AI, you're so good, but sometimes you're so bad when you're representing these companies. I don't know if I'm talking to, I don't know what I'm talking to. I'm working hard. I've built from scratch. I've built, it took days, it took many of hours. I had to get this program and learn this program that programs the station. I got to learn this program that holds the videos and directs and references I had to connect them. I had to get the correct version of this for my old computer. I had to get this. I went through it all for the Sons of Fahrenheit so they can gather at all times, YouTube. It is so important that these urban intellectuals have a place to gather because we don't get to talk to anyone. No one understands our ideas. We have one friend. I have one person I could talk to AI with, Bobby Drake. Other than that, we have each other. YouTube, we need each other. We need to gather so we can make the world a better place. This is the ultimate place to gather with Superior of Schlap in the background. YouTube, please stop dragging us. Any day now, it'll begin. All right, looking at the chat. Yes, Chi-Town. Yes. Yes. Shop. Mines. Yes, Mines is back. Okay, let me get on. Now, first thing I want to talk about today, how first degree to DE and how I recommend to make a beat. Okay, first thing I'm going to talk about today is how I make a beat. Now, just like every living organism, okay, just like every living organism, there's a skeleton. Well, not every living, okay, but just about every living organism, probably every mammal, there's a skeleton. So we start with the skeleton of the beat, which is the drums. Okay, from now, right now, today, the core of a beat is the drums. Okay? Since music was played on this, the core of the beat is the drums. Okay? Now, DEG got to do it the DEG way. So I'll lay a kick and a snare. I'll do a normal, something normal that's nice and normal for the people. You know, I don't want to. Sometimes I go too far and I've got to reel myself. Sometimes I don't reel but just something. But then I'll have a secondary kick, yo, and that's the one you like. I'll have a secondary kick, yo, that there's no rules, that gets to do his own thing, and that gives the beat the skip, the ghetto, the funk, okay? The random kick who has the freedom with the standard kick and snare gives you the. So I just wait until I reach the perfect marriage. Sometimes the freedom kick goes too far. I gotta start over. Sometimes I gotta start. Sometimes, but when it hits, and the boom is the 808. So that comes later. That comes third. Okay? Well, fourth. Okay, that comes fourth. So now you have dude. You just gotta stop. So I stop. I always stop. If I don't do this, I erase it and start over. Okay? I erase it and start over. Now, I was asked what I use. Nowadays, I make beats on my phone. I make the core of the beat. I make 80% of the beat on my phone. The technological the technological key is ridiculous now. I airdrop the tracks to my computer. Back in the day, back in the day when we was recording these, we was in the studio. But I learned so much from Poe Man Dre. It had to happen, yo. So we talking MPs. I'm talking before MPC 2000s. I said that and the chat blew up. I said MPC 2000 and the chat blew up. I'm before that. I remember when that was new and fresh. I remember when the MP first came out. Before that, we was using tapes to dub. We was using 4 tracks. The MP was a technological revolutionary device. I remember times before that. So I'm talking beats from before that to now. We're talking before the random Wikipedia's existence to last month with the Underbelly Sound Wars soundtrack. Every device in the history of rap music I've used just about, I'm gonna say that again, clip this is important. Just about every rap device used for making beats I've used since the beginning, since before it was digital. Till now, I'm not an old fogey stuck in the past. I'm dropping albums now. I'm in the booth as we speak with it, working on Twisted Insane's intro. I'm still doing this. I'm not just a fogey. Nah. Once the drums got me bouncing like this and I danced to it, I gotta dance to it. Then I proceed with decorations of percussion. I'm still in percussion. I've not yet touched a sound key yet. I'm still in percussion. I've not yet started the sound. But guess what I start with first? I'm in the production. I do about 80% of the drums. Then I stop in the chat. In the chat, I want you to guess. Any guess is a good guess. I want you to guess the first sound I work on once I'm done, quote unquote, except for little things, with the drums. I'm in the chat looking to see guesses on what I work on after the drums. Holla at me in the chat. Holla at me in the chat. Okay. The first thing I work on is the bass line. Ah! Mr. CT enters the fray. Mr. CT enters the fray after Mind's Eye chimes in. The bass line, he's right. I tinkle with the bass line. It has to be funky. It has to be groovy. The best bass line I've ever made was You've Gone and Did It Again. See, this is the thing about the DE slap. Uh, if it's something that comes in my soul first, like I'm talking about the drums, this is if I make a beat. But the hits is something that just comes and I don't know where it comes from. It'll be one little thing. It'll be one thing, and then I'll start with the drum. So the bestest of hits, the bestest of hits come from life. It'll be something that comes from life and something that's important. I think it needs to be tinkered with and delivered to the sons. Okay, some life lesson needs to be tinkered with, delivered to the sons, and then it'll be an idea or it'll be a melody. Like for example, the final say. For example, the final say. That song. The first thing that popped in my mind was the final say. And it just comes. The committee has the final say. And yes, I am the committee. Then I made the drums. Then I made the bass line in the chat after the idea or the spirit or the frequency or the melody, whatever comes to me. Then I do the drums, then the bass line in the chat. Give me a good guess on what comes after the bass line. Every time, 90% of the time, after a bass line that's hot, 90% of the time it'll either just be a little hint of it or it'll be massive. But it's the first track that has to go with the bass line in order to bring out the bass line and have you feeling the bass. Because the bass line, like a lot of, especially now when people listen to their music on their phones, you don't always get the bass line like you do in a car. So more of now, there's an instrument that has to go with the bass line. And it doesn't have to go with it. It could be a little trinkle of it. It could be big in the chat. Good guess, mind's eye. That's good instinct because that's what I start with. A good grungy snare. Good guess, my dude. But no, not that one. But that's very brave. Let me teach you a lesson about bravery, y'all, real quick. Hey, this is a math thing. It's about math, and this is teaching strategies, my mastering degree. Fear is the worst. It's the worst learning hindrance. Okay. My whole thing is about guessing. Because if you're not afraid to be wrong, you gonna be a good lifetime learner that can adjust to situations. I'm gonna say that again. If you get comfortable with being wrong, you gonna be a winner. Okay? The ones I worry about are the ones who are afraid to be wrong, yo. Feel me? The ones I worry about over my 18 years of teaching is the ones who are afraid to be wrong. That's just a little side thing. Now, mind's eye, I was talking about that album feel. Chimey, chime, chime. Good guess. Good guess. It's the strings. It's the strings. The string's either a chord of strings or one-fingered string. The string has got to help complement and tell the story of the bass line. I'm going to say it again. The strings have to complement and tell the story of the bass line. Now you got a drum story, a bass line story that's going with the drum story, and a string story that's either going with or complement with the bass line. Now you have a core and you have direction. If the strings are complicated and the bass line is simple, then I need to go simple on the trinket tracks, the chimes, like overkill, the chords and all that. If the strings are simple and there's a little spice to the bass line, there needs to be all kind of chords that's going to hit other notes of the bass line. So let's say a bass line like I just sung. Mine's like that's a snare. Then there has to be a change. That's a complicated bass line, right? Strings got to be simple. Trinkets got to be simple. Now the strings got to hit on just every once in a while. Gonna hit. Then when you do the chords, it has to be a different, so they don't clash. So I'm still in one sequence, adding trinkets that are complementing each other. Then I start another sequence. Okay? A sequence, for those that's fresh, is like a music sentence. You can make it as long as you want, but it's usually in multiples of 4. Okay? Usually in multiples of 4. Sometimes I use 12. It depends on my mood. Okay? Depends on my mood. Just a side note, I can't help but to mention, and this is like the only time this happened in rap, the Funk Beta when he was recording in BG albums and back in the day. In Dalvin's garage, he would lay every track live. Oh my goodness. And even when sequencers came along, he chose to drop every track live. What are we talking about? Anywho, I didn't even do all that. I do that sometimes, but sometimes, like not a bass line though. Whew. Anywho, then I'll start with something different with the drums. Something either, if those drums are complicated, something that's simple, or vice versa, some kind of break. And then I'll copy it again. So then I'll make the bridge. For those musicians out there, I've been working on sync licensing, which is getting your music into movies. Now, first I had to make the Underbelly Sound Wars to show them that this music deserves to be in movies. But now I'm reaching out to the Paramounts and the Chams and the Nippy Knots. Okay? At the same time, I'm learning the lessons of the sync community. So let me tell you a quick lesson for my musicians out there about sync licensing, getting your music in commercials, movies and TV, and all that. They like it in parts. They like separate parts that they can use that sound different, okay? For my musicians, when you make a song, give them 4 or 5 parts that sound different, okay? 4 or 5 parts that sound different. So, on that note, that's why I make the bridge. A bridge is either going to be complicated or a breakdown, okay? The bridge is going to become, so now we got 3 sequences. One of those is going to be the chorus. I decorate, add new chords to every one. I'm building each one by one. I'm building each track one by one using one. Well, I don't know why I keep using 2 hands. I only use 1 hand. I wish I was a 2-handed piano player. But I'm not going to front. I'm a one-handed piano player. Oh my. In the chat. I didn't even see all that. Mind's eye, may the schlangs be with you. Invest in the schlangs. Stand out in the schlangs. Every time you invest in the schlangs, mind's eye, you stand out in the schlangs. I don't know how much money I spent building this station. Not this. I'm talking about our station. And the number one reason is so that you, urban intelligence, can gather. So you guys can gather. Thank you, Mind's Eye. Uriel, invest in the schlangs, stand out in the schlangs. May the schlangs be with you. Uriel, you are an angel to the algorithm. I'm going to say it again. You are an angel to the algorithm. Okay? I'm just learning about these shows and all this. But I do know one thing is that leaving comments helps the situation. Uriel, may the schlangs be with you. Now, back to our story. We got 3 parts to a beat. The bridge got to be something like let's take the song Synergy. Let's take the song Synergy. The bridge is just talking. Talking is the hardest thing to do in music. I'm going to say it again. I know that sounds weird, but how many MCs you know just get up there and rap on the stage or rap in a song? Talking is hard because you got to care. I'm going to say it again. Talking is hard. You got to care. And I'm not the biggest Tupac fan and all that, and I respect him and all that. But one thing he did was talk on those records. One thing he did was talk on those records. Okay, so for the bridge, sometimes I just want to talk to you. Man. But the trippiest thing is I spend so much time and money to talk to you. But now I got the Fahrenheit on, and all I gotta do, 6 o'clock is press the live and we're together. Oh my God, I can't emphasize that enough. Everything has changed now. The world is changing now. I've spent 30 years sending out invitations to the most elite of minds, and now we gather. What could be better than that? I've, I have someone, I have the group, I have the intellect, I have the core, I have the posse. We're gonna move forward. I can't emphasize that enough, man. Man, but anyway, back to the music. Back to the music. Now I'm making a beat. I've made 3 bass lines, different chords, 3 choruses. They all either complement or complicated and just sprinkle some kind of, it's all mathematic patterns. Hey, even making movies, and I had a lot to learn: Underbelly Sound Wars and the Adobe Premiere Pros and the Whippy Whams, but I do it all for you. Every time I get in front of one of these programs, I'm like, how the heck am I ever gonna learn how to do this? Then I think of the Sons of Fahrenheit and the importance of what we're doing. I put on my purist jacket and I learn these new programs. Oh my goodness, I can't emphasize that enough. I've had to learn so much for you, but you are the reason I've learned so much. You know, you are the energy of why I've learned so much, so I appreciate that. Now, once the beat is made, you put it together. This goes here, this goes here, this goes here, this goes, because I want the first verse to be this. I want chorus, short chorus, verse, regular chorus, bridge, boom, bam, something DE weird at the end of the song. Something DE weird at the end of the song. Okay? Something DE weird at the end of the song. Oh, you know what I forgot to mention in the intro? I forgot to mention that special request last show. Y'all asked me to do Simon. So I'm going to explain Simon, the song. I forgot to mention that. Okay? I got that ready. Now, after the beat's all made up, boom, boom, start with the chorus. Okay? I'm building the chorus. But it can't just be a chorus. It has to be something that means something to you. I'm going to say that again. It can't be about just me. I'm the greatest. It has to be about you. I want you to hear a DE slap, and after you hear the slap, your life is better somehow. Even if it's just in your mind, like your perspective of life and like like positivity and just like have the willpower to just I want it to be like transferring willpower to your dreams, like give you the inspiration to just take that first step. You know what I'm saying? Um, I'm gonna talk about more of that on Simon when I talk about Simon. All right, so that's how I make a beat. Drums. But snare, like mine's I said, start with a snare. The snare has to be grimy, even if it's a fast song. Snare, kick, simple kick, freedom kick that allows the and when you hear Beta make a beat, and we still working on the Beta. He got a holder for his phone, got a new TV in the whoopty wham. Area 51 looking tight. So he's still working on that. But when you watch him make a beat, by the time he's done with the drums, it's already a hit. I'm gonna say it again. When Funk Beta makes a beat, by the time the drums are done, you're like, oh. Anyway, then go to the bass line. The bass line just gotta hit right with those drums. Sometimes it's so important that before I do the freedom kick, I do the bass line just so the freedom kick. But it just depends. It's all you flow like water. You flow like water. Okay? Then the strings have to talk to the bass line. The strings have to talk to the bass line. Then you put in everything else, chords, doom, 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 breakthrough sounds. But it all starts the best hits. I'm telling you, from I don't know how many years of releasing music, the best hits, the bestest of hits come from life. When I look in the chat and I see Julio going on and on about these DE songs, he always mentions the weird songs, the songs that came straight from my life, the songs that came from the frequency. Then I made the beat. Now, I'll admit there's sometimes, I don't want to say force it, but sometimes I want to make a beat, and I hear a beat. But the best songs are when it just already exists. That bass line I sung for you, that bass line existed in the back of my head for like years before I had to learn how to play it. You know what I'm saying? The bass line existed in my head for many of years. I had to learn how to play it. That was hard to learn. I'm telling you, that was hard to learn. I'm not Funk Beta. Okay? I'm not Funk Beta. See, the thing is, for me, the music comes from the frequency, and then it's like, dang it, Michael, you got to learn how to play this. It's not. I'm not Funk Beta. I'm not just. He can just. I can't wait for y'all to see that, man. You think the Fahrenheit Hour is fun. It's fun to me. I love the Fahrenheit Hour. But the Funk Beta show, when you guys see this, oh my God. He won't even need to talk. I keep telling him he doesn't even need to talk. All he has to do is put the phone right with his fingers along the keyboard and do this. Oh my God. Anywho, I gotta hear it and learn how to play it. And that's how it's done, man. Mr. Fahrenheit. Holla at me in the chat if you're still with your boy. Holla at me in the chat if you're still with your boy. Yes. Yes. Legendary genius. What up, Don? Making beats is the funnest part of making music. Making beats is the funnest part of making music. The beat is more important than the rapper. Clip this, this is important. I've lived in my head all these years. I don't express my opinion. I never express my opinion. You ask people about me, they say, D, you're crazy on record. And then when I meet you, you're just this calm person. I'm not like this. I finally get to express myself. I finally have an avenue. I finally have the type of intellects like you, the sons of Fahrenheit, where I can express myself. I have an opinion. I say the beat is more important than the rapper. I can prove it. I don't know how many times I bumped Mr. Doc set ripping block style. There was a time, I think, even to this day, I rank set ripping either. It's hard to say. It's with season. Okay, it's either right behind, maybe it's somewhere in there. I loved set ripping block style. Holla at me in the chat if you remember set ripping block style. Holla at me in the chat if you love set ripping block style. Now, it wasn't till years later. It wasn't till years later then I understood Lynch's influence on set ripping block style. I'm gonna say it again. So shouts out to Lynch. It wasn't till years later till I knew he produced it. I'm not talking about produced it. I knew he produced it. I'm talking about influenced. Like not just made the beats, but influenced its construction, like constructed it. There's a word I'm just drawing a blank that you when the credits, but it basically means the person who constructed it. Okay. Now, the next I love Doc, but that next album and the next album and the next album was not the same, right? Let's just get real. The next album and the next album and the next album wasn't the same. The beat is the most important part of a song. And it's a shame that producers don't get that credit. It's a shame that producers don't get that credit. It's close. A rapper is important because BG, Rakim, they can rap over some bad beats, and I still need to hear it. But man, when it's a good beat, man, when it's a good beat, the rapper just does good. It's hard to explain, man. It's hard to explain. Urion, you know what I'm saying? I agree, man. It was a hard drop, too. I love Doc, but it was a hard drop. All right, moving forward on the Fahrenheit. That's how I first agree that DE makes beats, and that's how I recommend you do the same. Now, I want to talk real brief. The Triple Threat 3, Sacramento's first rap group, turned down an offer from Russell Simmons and Def Jam Records. What if they accepted it and Sacramento was as big as LL Cool J and Sacramento ended up running the stage? This is my question to you. Do you guys think X-Rated, Homicide, Sebo, Brother Lynch, do you think America would have accepted them on a national stage? Holla at me in the chat. I put it in there already. I got here early because I'm so of curious. If X-Rated and Lynch and all that, if we were on a worldwide stage back then, do you think it would have been a good thing? Yeah, they still live in Sac, dog. So they still live in Sac. But the world is watching Sac like they watch New York. Uriel says yes. Uriel says yes. How, Uriel? How? What do you give me some detail on your yes? How would it have changed everything? Man, I think that because there's so much variety, I think it would have worked, yo. I think it would have worked. I think the Triple Threat 3 would have came with the dance MC Hammer type. And then Lynch would have blown them all away. Like, I can't think of anyone that I can't even think. It would have been revolutionary. Sibo, oh my goodness. Sibo would have been as big as Pac, maybe even. Can you imagine? Because a lot of it is marketing and just the major and just the momentum. If Def Jam was marketing the town, holla at me in the chat what you think it would have been like. Oh, the chemistry, Uriel. I'm telling you. There was a time where I would be with Dalvin, the owner of Death Trap Records. We would walk it. Okay, for example, when we finished Southbound, my first album, we finished Southbound, and said was like, "Congratulations, y'all! Why don't you guys come through and let's make a cover?" We're like, "All right." We went to the black market office and said, started on a cover for. I remember he taught me a valuable lesson that day. I'm gonna share it with you. Said taught me a valuable lesson the day he invited us to the black market office. I think he was just kind of probing us too. You feel me? Because we was, but he was, okay. We was, but he was, but he told. I started adding a bunch of things to my cover, right? A bunch of words like text, and he told me that if it don't make money, it's noise. Now he meant it just with the cover. But it's the same thing I be telling us, and I'm not saying money, I'm saying energy. If it ain't about our frequency, it's noise. One of your homeworks was just to listen. To listen if you hear people, and it's like, hey, this dumb person did something dumb. Oh my God, you're gonna hear it now. As a member of the Sons, listening to the Fahrenheit, you're gonna be able to filter this. You're gonna hear, hey, this dumb person did something dumb. Hey, watch this video. This dumb person did something dumb. You gotta cut all that out. Don't even reply. This dumb person did something dumb. No, do not reply to that. You are ideas. You are not talking about celebrities, stats. No, you are ideas. Stats for your ideas, but you are ideas. The rest is noise. So I learned that in the black market office. Okay, I believe because black market ended up going through priority, which was a major, but it wasn't Def Jam. I believe, like you believe, I'm reading in the chat. They would have had the same albums, yes, on a bigger, so much of a bigger scale because we were fighting on the underground. I'm going to tell you guys Cedric Singleton's number one marketing secret. I shouldn't even be saying this. I'm going to get a drink of water just to think about for a second if I should be saying this because this is not my business. After the drink of water, I've decided it's okay for me to share this story, even though it's not my business. Now, Cedric Singleton's number one marketing secret. Stop yourself, Michael. I don't know. This is not my business. I didn't get on the Fahrenheit Hour to divulge people's secrets. But I'm with the mighty members of the Fahrenheit Schlangs, and I feel in my heart that even delivering Cedric Singleton's number one marketing secret will benefit their lives, so I have no choice but to tell the story. Let me just collect myself. Okay. I interviewed Sid on the Fahrenheit Hour, but I've had more dealings than that. As I said, since the beginning, he handed me this. Okay, the Sacramento's first rap album. He was helping us with ours, and like we said in the chat, folks was getting along so much back then, man. AWOL Records, Sibo and them, Death Trap. Because Sid and AWOL, they had their own thing. They was like cool too. So it was like a triangle. It was like a triangle. Everybody was getting along, man. You're right, man. Everybody was getting along. Dang, I could just read the V Dog is back. I could just read this chat, but I gotta keep the show going. I'll read the chat at the end. Just keep the chat going. I'm gonna read it at the end. I just got so much to say, and I always go above the time. Now, all right. So I do think it would have been big. Uh, I think that the triangle, I think the whole everybody working together, same albums, it would have been big. I'm reading the chat. You agree? Moving on. We talked about beats. I want to give a special shout out to Sparky made this. Sparky made the slap. Okay, clip this. This is important. Shout out to Sparky made the slap. Okay, made it slap. Now, decade behemoth funk beta who just created this whole sound is how can he compete with that? You know, you got Mike Mosley. Shout out to Mike Mosley. Made the whole help with the C, but it got all these people's sounds. But then Sparky made his slap coming from Fruit Ridge. That whole fruit made the Fruit Ridge. Briss Mac J made that, help make that sound, man. So shout out to Sparky made his slap. I love your sound. I was on his live. See, I'm back. That I hate to do this, but I have to. I hate to do this, but I have to. Okay, Wikipedia warrior. Back in the day when we was playing rap music on one of these, I was involved in the process. At the same time, I'm still with the youth. Okay, I'm still with the youth in current day. Okay, still with the youth in current day. My releases span, you AirPod academic, from decades before your existence to last month. Okay, so shout out to Sparky made it slap. Now, moving forward on the Fahrenheit. Before I get to Simple Simon, okay, before I get to Simple Simon, Simon was the first call. Okay, Sacramento rap had all its thing, and picture it. Picture how Sacramento rap felt back then. Okay, Lynch Loaded. We worked on Loaded and Planet Zero at the same time. Lynch Loaded, all that. Think about the feel. But then it got to a point where I gotta call up these intellectuals and park the pen. It was just like, I don't care. I gotta make a song like this. I'm tired of dumb people. I don't care. I'm tired of rap being dumb. So we're gonna talk about Simon. Anywho, before we talk about Simon, I want to tell a quick story for story times. I've been trying to squeeze so much. It's just, your time is so precious to me. I take so many notes. I have pages and pages of notes. Pages and pages of notes. For the Fahrenheit, I try to squeeze in so much because your time is so valuable to me. I enjoy this so much. Anywho. Now, randoms. I ranted about them for days. I'm not gonna do it today. Okay? YouTube Yodas know their stake in this. They should know by now. And I got no new comments, no new DMs today. So I'm gonna be cool. Okay? I'm gonna be cool. But what I do want to say is this. I want to say that a lot of people will say, like I mentioned yesterday or the day before, the Fahrenheit is becoming a blur. One of these days, some people will be like, oh, people only know you because of Lynch or Andre Nicotina or because of Mac Dre. I want to tell you a story. A few stories, okay? I've been places and done shows, okay, where the announcer or somebody introducing me, okay, I'm going to give you 3 examples that I remember. In the middle of nowhere, in Randomsville, USA. I'm not going to say the city because I want to talk openly. I'm not going to say what cities they are or towns because I want to speak openly. Okay? Now, these towns I were in had the strangest of people. Okay? The strangest of people, when the announcer, this, okay, the first example, I'm introduced to a large group of people. Okay? I'm introduced to a DJ to a large group of people from this random town. This is in, let's say it's in 2004. Let's say 2004. It's somewhere 2004. Yeah, I think it is 2004. I'm introduced to this group of people. The person says, "This is First Degree, the DE who raps with Brother Lynch." I look over the crowd. Everyone was looking at each other saying, "Who the hell is Brother Lynch?" I'm going to say this again. I've performed in front of people when they introduced this first example. In front of a large group of people, I'm introduced by the DJ, First Degree the DE, who raps with Brother Lynch. I look at the crowd, everyone's looking at each other saying, "Who the hell is Brother Lynch?" Example number two. Example number two. Did a show. It was maybe 3,000 people. I'm introduced by the host of the show on the mic. I'm giving you three examples of how the depth of me going to these places representing the Sacramento slangs to a whole group of people before Sacramento artists was even thinking about touring. Okay? I'm in this random town, 3,000 people. The host introduces, says, and I quote, "Fresh off the Mac Dre tour." I'm backstage. The host says, "Fresh off the Mac Dre tour." I peek behind the curtain. The crowd is looking at each other. Who the hell is Mac Dre? I'm going to say it again. I'm not going to say the city because I should call it a town, because I want to speak openly. These people were strange, not because of their lack of knowledge of the raps, but because they're actually strange. People are, the 3,000 people. The host introduced me fresh off the Mac Dre tour. I told him to say it because I'm a new artist. I'm not a new artist, but I'm in an area that's new. I need a little nudge. I told him to say it because I'm new to the area. My first time, I need a little nudge. He says, "Fresh off the Mac Dre tour." I look at the crowd and they're saying to themselves, "Who the hell is Mac Dre?" These are crowds that you have to win over when you're in the woods. You're in the woods, but for some reason there's 3,000 people. You didn't even see any houses when you're driving up. You have no idea where these people are living. Are they living inside of trees? Are they living under the ground? Wherever they're living, they're coming to the show. I'm trying to get in good with a little nudge. They don't know Mac Dre. One more example. Examples of how deep I am in this Sacktown rap game and how some situations I've been in are no relation to a celebrity you know. It was me representing you by myself most of the time. I can't emphasize that enough. By myself. I hear, "Hey, DE, come out. We like your raps. They're different." I fly on a plane. I'm in the middle of nowhere amongst people who look weird, and I don't know where they live because there's no houses. It's just trees. Example number three. Different town, 900 people. Okay? Different town, 900 people. Same situation. Same situation. Fresh, he didn't say fresh. I remember he specifically said fresh for the Mac Dre. But the essence of fresh off touring with Andre Nicotina. Who the hell is Andre Nicotina? I'm battling an uphill battle here. In the name of the slangs, I'm battling uphill battles and I will tell you this. The first example I told you, maybe not the other two. But the first example I told you, yo, I brought, and I am not BSing. They had no clue who Brother Lynch was. This is when this is right after FU1 came out for this one, okay? Right after FU1, not right after, but a few years after FU1, I brought 800 FU1s in a giant suitcase, my dude. I brought 800 FU1s in a giant suitcase and I sold every single one of them. I'm going to say it again. I brought 800 FU CDs in a suitcase and sold every one for $5 because they didn't know who I was. For $5 because they didn't know who I was, but I sold every single one. They didn't know who Lynch was. It was because of what happened on that stage, yo. I can't emphasize that enough. Now, I know I've been checking the stats. One of the searches I'm lacking on is DE merch. People Google DE merch and they don't find me. So I'm working on that. But one thing I do is slang these CDs, yo. So, moral of the story is, sometimes they don't know who Lynch is. They don't know Mac Dre. They don't know Nicotina. You got an uphill climb. But when you go to the people and come from your heart, it all work out. So in these towns, they may not know who Brother Lynch Hung is. In these towns, they may not know who Mac Dre is. In these towns, they might not know Andre Nicotina, the king of the filthy mo. But they know First Degree the DE. Holla at me in the chat. Holla in the chat. The chat is on fire, man. The only thing is when I read it, it's just the show stopped. Twisted is back. Oh, I already mentioned you, Twisted. I already told them I'm in the booth. I already mentioned to them, I said the span of these boss restart from when music was played on one of these up until most of recently. I'm in the booth on Twisted Insane's intro album. That's a span of 30 plus years. Random, come at me correct. Man, Pete Folks. V-Dog. V-Dog, I gotta address this, V-Dog. One day I'm in the grocery store and dude is all just cussing and I'm in the grocery store. I think I was with my daughter. Dude just cussing and then I think I went to the liquor store and they're just, what makes them think we want to hear their conversation? And even though that's the weirdest of topic to rap about, it's so important. It had to be dead. My friend shouts out to Ramsey. I said, Ramsey, he's the manager at it. I won't say, I don't want to get him in trouble, at a popular grocery store. I said, Ramsey, I got this message that is so important, it has to be recorded in a grocery store. He said, what is the message? I said, people talking on their cell phone on the speaker in the grocery store. He said, yes. And it goes back to the point that when life gives you something that you deem is important, even though it's never been rapped about in the history of rap, even though it's never been rapped about in the history of rap, if it's something that's important to you, you gotta do it. If it's something that's important to you, you gotta do it. I had to make the grocery store song. V-Dog is referring to Here We Go Again. It's about people listening to the talking on their speakerphone in the grocery store. The song had to be made, and First Degree the DE is the only human on earth that would make it. The burden of the DE is always, not always, I won't say always. The burden of the DE is oftentimes so great. I have to stick my neck out further than any other MC just in the name of the game and in the name of representing you. Ramsey, we got to make this song in the grocery store. He says that message is so important. This is what I'm going to do. Even though the franchise would kill me over this, I want you to come at 4 a.m. I want you to come to the grocery store at 4 a.m. before there's customers. Be very quiet, play the music very quietly, and just get in and get out. Thank you, Ramsey. Ramsey, you're one with the schlangs. We arrive at the record store a week later. No, no. Well, I don't know if you synced the video, but I have the giant cell phones. Those came from China. There was nothing in America made that could suit the vision I had for you, the mighty members of the Fahrenheit Schlangs. I had those cell phone suits shipped from China. So I actually had to wait on that. Then we hooked up with Ramsey, got in, did the dance, boom, 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 got out. The mighty J Synth edited. Now it's in the chat. Now it's important to you. Everything I do is for you. I cannot emphasize that enough. P. Folk, Wraith. May the schlangs be with you. Invest in the schlangs, stand out in the schlangs. Every time I invest in the schlangs, I stand out in the schlangs and good things happen. May the schlangs be with you, Wraith. Everything that goes in the schlangs, I put right back in the schlangs for you. I am a one-man operation. I can't emphasize that enough. And I do it for you. The best part of our 24/7 network is I saw you guys talking to each other, and it made me realize I gotta do this for you. That's why I'm so edgy with YouTube right now. I gotta come through for you so you have a place where you can communicate with other intelligent minds. Oh man. Come on, YouTube. Insane. Thanks, Steven. Bumping that insane. The tactile Tacoma, you already know. I'm so tactile with it. I did a show, Blue Nose Music. Oh, where was that show? Dang it, I'm too many shows. Like 150 shows. But I did a show tactile. It was just a Blue Nose show, a AWOL, Josh Risberg, but it was like 85 people, and it was small, and we just gathered. Shouts out to Tactile, man. I love it, man. All right, I'm in the chat, man. The king is back. May the slangs be with you, Ray. Thank you, Ray. Man, I stick my neck out. You don't know what it's like. No. I'm not gonna do that because I'll say two things. You don't know what it's like to walk in a room when you made a song like the grocery store song, and we walk in a room full of MCs who do songs that are just like normal songs. You know. But I gotta do it for you. Who else would do it but the D? The burden of the DE can be so great, but then I get in the chat on the Fahrenheit hour, and then the burden turns into an aura. It turns into purpose. Oh my goodness. The burden turns into aura. Thank you, y'all. Lee, the evil that men do got me rolling, turning them body bleeders into believers. Turning them body bleeders into believers. All right. Schlangs. May the schlangs be with you, Ray. Hail the Schlangs, man. V-Dogs, I believe I'm about to see an article from a pizza restaurant. That means more. And that's what when you buy an album at a pizza restaurant and then they blow up, you are a pioneer. And I'm telling you, there will be a day, years, months, years from now, when the Fahrenheit Hour is, you know, you, I will remember you in the chat. I will remember you. You are a pioneer of the Fahrenheit Hour. Everybody watching, you are a pioneer. So thank you. You are a pioneer of the Fahrenheit Hour. Now, let's end this. Not end this, but I've been waiting to get to this. Okay? This came from you. Hey, I've been rapping a lot of raps. Been rapping some DE raps, some Briss raps, some Draco the Ruler raps. With the DE raps, I've been rapping the new raps, because that's what I'm feeling. I'm always in the now. I'm in now. I'm looking forward. But in the chat, I see a lot of the classics. So I was like, give me a classic. And the one I synced it first was Simon. Okay, I get a lot. I've never ever explained Simon ever, but it's the Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit, Fahrenheit. The song Simon is based on a true story. Holla at me in the chat. Before I even start, I'm going to get a little motivation from yous. Before I even start, I'm going to get a little motivation from you. Holla at me in the chat. Holla at me in the chat if you want me to explain Simon for the first time ever. Okay, I keep telling you, you're the pioneers. People ask me, I'm not social until now with you. I'm social with you, but I'm not social. People have asked about Simon for 30 years. I've never explained it to now. Holla at me in the chat if you're ready for the first time for me to explain Simon. King is ready. Overkill story times. Oh, Master Yip says, I've attended all of your shows in Denver. What are we talking about, man? Master Yip says, I've attended all of your shows in Denver. What are we talking about? The 303, Aurora. I was just talking about the importance of Aurora. What was the name of the record store? There's two of them. But shouts out to the Denver, too many shows. But there's an important record chain. V-Dog. May the schlangs be with you. Invest in the schlangs. Stand out in the schlangs. Okay, invest in the schlangs. Stand out in the schlangs. Now, may the schlangs be with you. May you focus on the future and all of yours. And follow your lead, yo, as you ride the frequency. Thank you, V-Dog. Before I start, Simon, I got to go back and talk. You said, I decided to tell you said singles secret. After contemplating for 30 minutes, I wasn't going to, but I'm going to tell you said secret since it's us. Okay? Since it's us, then I'm Angelo's Master Yip comes through with the information like he's asked the schlangs. We're talking about Angelo's records. You're right. You are exactly right. Denver, Colorado, yo. The DE goes everywhere just to talk to you. Oh my goodness. I went to Denver just to talk and be in front of you and mingle and interact with you, Master Yip, and all your friends. I can't emphasize that enough. I've sacrificed myself to the schlangs. I ride the wave of the schlangs. I'm so glad you were there, Master Yip. Now, Cedric Singleton's number one secret. I realize I'm going to go ahead since this has been a good show. Controversy. Cedric Singleton put out Homicide. Okay? He stirred a little, yeah, he stirred up a little, got a spoon. But obviously, and shouts out to Patricia Harris, okay? The woman who was murdered by X-Rated's friend, not X-Rated, okay? Shouts out to Patricia. Imagine, we're going to talk about Patricia. I'm going to write that down. She's more than just a mention, yo. If if Patricia Harris, the woman who was murdered by X-Rated's friend, not X-Rated, she was a community activist. Okay, I'm close to Meadowview at the time, so it's really controversial. But what I'll say is this: she, alive, gave herself to the community, and in death, she gave herself to the community because the story of Patricia Harris is one of the, I guess, is like the megaphone that just propelled Sacramento rap to the national stage. So I'm gonna write that down. Next, we're gonna talk a little bit more about Patricia Harris. I absolutely want you guys to know about her. Okay, absolutely. Yes, thank you, Anna King. I mean, imagine. I mean, and it's I don't. I mean, but in death, it's like her death. It's like her purpose was even alive. She was a community activist. It was like her death just propelled Sacramento rap, the story of it. But anyway, so said rode that wave a little. Okay, said rode that wave. Obviously, the news are coming to him. I'm not saying like anything like that because, but when it came to the Loaded album. This is an example of the genius of Cedric Singleton. Holla at me in the chat. Just give me some woo wham bing bam, some fire or an emoji or 100 or something. So I could tell you how Set Singh used manufactured controversy to market Loaded across the United States. It was pure genius. Holla at me in the chat so I can spill the secret. Let's go. Holla at me in the chat so that I may spill the secret. What time is it? I'm always going over. I can't help myself. It's the bah, bah, bah. All right, now let's go. Cedric Singleton across the United States, Pennsylvania, Texas, California, across the United States would picket Loaded. He would manufacture picket lines, picketing Loaded. They all had their signs out there, picketing Loaded during the Dr. Dre Snoop Dogg Up in Smoke tour. During the Dr. Dre Snoop Dogg Up in Smoke tour, I saw it with my own eyes. As people were walking into the venue, there were 30 people outside picketing Loaded. I'm out there putting Planet Zero flyers by myself on cars. Okay, I followed the Smoke Up and Smoke tour by myself, putting flyers on cars. That's how deep I am for you. I humble myself and get to work. As I'm putting Planet Zero flyers on cars, I look and 30 people are picketing Loaded with Loaded signs saying, Brother Lynch, Loaded. Everyone is watching. Everyone is watching these picketers. They're black market employees. Cedric has black market employees picketing Loaded, following the Up in Smoke tour. I'm seeing it with my own eyes. People are fascinated. Cedric manufactured a Loaded controversy. The genius of Said Singh at work. Okay. Whew. The genius of Said Singh at work. Picketing Pennsylvania. Andre Nicotina told me in Pennsylvania, he was in Pennsylvania and they were picketing Loaded. That's what I was just like, what is going on? The reach of Cedric Singleton, Pennsylvania picketing Loaded. The controversy machine that is said scene. I love it. All right. A long clip this is important. A long time ago, I had a friend I used to go. We used to go out of town. I'm not gonna say the town because that's gonna give it away. But sometimes we would go out of town, right? And this was a point where everybody was just I was starting my own label. So I was laser focused. Dalvin went to jail. He was gonna put out Planet Zero. That fell through. I had to learn how to everything, the ins and outs of a label. I'm label laser focused. I'm in college at the time. We go out of town and we go to the dude's house. He spends 2.5 hours, I kid you not, talking about vacuum cleaners. I'll say it again. Dalvin just goes to jail. I'm having to learn the ins and outs of a record label by myself. I'm in college. I'm in my sixth year. It's taking forever. I'm not at Hampton. I'm at Sac State now. It's taking forever. I'm laser focused. I get driven out of town. I'm not the driver. I get driven out of town to a house for 2.5 hours. The dude talks about vacuum cleaners. I kid you not. So I'm driving when we're driving home. I'm just like, oh my God, I just spent not only the 2.5 hours listening to vacuum cleaner talk, but the time driving. So I was like, I gotta make a song. It was just like the grocery store thing is the same thing. I don't care what rap sounds like. I don't care that I'm supposed to be gangster. I gotta make this song about this dude that just wasted 5 hours of my time because he wanted to talk about vacuum cleaners. I gotta check the chat for some moral support. I gotta check the chat before I start signing. Just because I've set the stage, I'm back there and I need some moral support in the chat. It was some of the most pivotal times of ever. Starting Fahrenheit Records, making Planet Zero loaded. I get driven out of town and talking about vacuum cleaners for hours and hours. With that said, I check the chat. Uriel's feeling me. Steve in the building. Simon by First Degree the D. I never even said that out loud before. I'm being honest. I've never said that story out loud. And now that I look at these words and I'm back there mentally, it's funny. Especially the first line. This is I don't care how I'm supposed to be as an MC. And that's the best part. The minute I decided to be me is the minute you came along. And now we're here. So this song is actually like the first, just forget it. I gotta do this, even if it's weird. First degree to D, Simon. Clip, this is important. First degree to D, Simon, from Planet Zero. I ain't going to that fool's house no more. The vacuum cleaner dude. And I never went there again. I never went there again. I ain't going to that fool's house no more. The conversation goes from OJ to malt liquor to OJ to fast girls to OJ, bonehead pitter patter. I should have thrown in vacuum cleaners, but that would have been too random. But it was a lot of OJ talk back then. Fool don't know licks, but what he does know doesn't matter. Why did I waste so much time? It goes back to what we were talking about earlier. People, I'm not talking about your anyone's friends being dumb or nothing, but There will be people trying to distract you saying, hey, look at this dumb person doing this dumb thing. They'll send you a link of a TikTok, or they'll send it on the instant chat, or they'll send it on Instagram. But the core of it will be, look at this dumb person doing this dumb thing. You got to tune it out. We were just talking about that. Now we're talking about Simon, which was written in, what, 1998? The same messages apply. There's a parallel between Simon and here we go again. All right, move on. Fool don't know a lick, but what he does know don't matter. Like this fool working the drive-through, trying too hard to be my friend. Okay, talk is not gonna be my friend. You wanna be my friend? Throw some free fries in. This is an era of hardcore gangster rap. I cannot emphasize that enough. But I am so thankful of the Schlangs that the Schlangs gave me the insight to just make these weird songs. You don't know how, you may know, but it takes a lot of bravery to go against the grain. But the reward is you. Your love and appreciation and your participation in this mighty Fahrenheit Schlangs agenda and frequency. It all leads to now, man. Even back in 98, I was calling for you. Won't be my friend? Throw some free fries in. Now, I never said this out loud. Now, I'm going to check the chat. I want you guys to still be with me. Got this fool paging me on the dot every 3 minutes. He addicted to that a dish. Now, yes! I've never even said this out loud. The line goes, got this fool paging me on the dot every 3 minutes. He addicted to that a dish. Exactly 3 minutes later in the song, yo. Stop it, Michael. You're giving away too much. Stop yourself, Michael. You're giving away too much. Exactly 3 minutes later in the song, he pages me again. The intricate details of the DEG never ceases to amaze. Right here at this point of the song, a pager goes off, and exactly 3 minutes later, the pager goes off in real time. It's real 3 minutes. It's not a facade. Get your stopwatch out. Get your stopwatch out. Time when I say that and when it rings later in the song, it's exactly 3 minutes. Michael, why you're giving away too much? But it's the sons of Fahrenheit. I do this for them, almighty of Schlangs. I do this for them. Anywho. Understand we in the world of snakes. I'm sitting looking down. Here's a little secret. Planet Zero, before it was called Planet Zero, it was called Sitting High Looking Down. Okay, before it was called Planet Zero, it was called Sitting High Looking Down. I was gonna be on this like building, sitting high looking down, like looking down at the people. So that's what that line is. Oh man, I gotta fit. I gotta. I'm way over time, man. I'm way over time. I'm supposed to end at 7. It's 7:30. I can't help it. I'm over 30 minutes. I can't help myself. I don't even realize it. Oh man, my man. I don't know if I was in my bad because I don't think it's a bad thing. It's not bad, but it's just the Fahrenheit hour. I was supposed to just be an hour. I'm gonna have to finish the Simon on the next one, man. I'm already 30 minutes. All right, I'm gonna finish Simon on the next show, y'all. I'm gonna check the chat. True Schlangs, the 421. Schlangs, may the Schlangs be with you. Thank you, V-Dog. They don't know that, but you're right. They just use the word weird because they don't understand, okay? But you're right, it's really creative, okay? It's really creative. All right, y'all. It was a good show today, man. I'll continue the Simon. I'm just way over. This is the longest show we've ever had. Congratulations. This is the longest show we did. Say it with your boy. All praise due to the Fahrenheit Schlang. It is the Schlangs that brings us here together. All praise due to the Fahrenheit Schlang. It is the Schlangs that brings us purpose. Meet me back tomorrow. I'm having too much fun to stop. Hope you are too. Same Fahrenheit station. Same Fahrenheit. Peace, y'all.